Okay, so now we've got our fresh pasta sheet. Now I'm going to show you how to make some ravioli. A couple different ways to do this. One thing you're going to need some kind of pizza cutter works just fine. I have a nice little, I don't even know what to call it. It's a pasta wheel, but it gives it a nice little ridge to it. Makes it look a little bit more fancy. This is a ravioli stamp. That you can buy ravioli stamps that just have the border. However, I really dislike them. They don't pinch the dough at all, so the dough seems to pop open a lot when you're boiling it. I've got a cheese mixture here. I just took some ricotta, Parmesan, mozzarella. Very, very simple, very fresh. And now I'm going to show you how I would make the ravioli. You're going to want just a little bit of water on hand too. So, if I was going to make a ravioli for a group of people, I would do it by laying out the filling in the sheet, leaving about 1.5 inches of space in between. Let's do about 9. But you can see that there's plenty more space here, obviously. Don't want them too close to the edge. I'm going to go ahead and cut my dough. You want it to be longer. You don't want to go more than halfway. You want to be short of halfway because the midway point is right about here. You want to give yourself an extra at least inch. The longer you go, the more you're going to want to leave yourself, just because it's going to take more dough to cover it. Now I'm just kind of dipping my hand in the water and sprinkling it over and rubbing it over. Now what this does is it loosens up the egg just a little tiny bit that's in the dough, and it makes it, you can see that it becomes sticky. You do not want to over moisturize, or else it won't stick. It'll just turn into a big watery nightmare. Now when you hang it over the top, you're going to let it dip down in between the rows and touch. And you're going to press down. And you're just going to kind of go around each ball of filling that you got. You can use any kind of filling you want. My favorite here at the restaurant is the sun-dried tomato ravioli that we have on the menu all the time. But you can do it, to whatever seasonal. Right now we're doing some butternut squash. I love that. Throw some sausage in there. So, if you have a ravioli stamp at this point, you can go ahead and use that. It does a nice little crimp on it. Or you don't have it, or you don't, I like to use as few utensils as possible, so a lot of the time if I'm just making it for a group of people, it's as simple as just cutting it into a square. You don't want to leave a huge amount on the border. You don't want to get too close either, but you don't want to have a bunch of just folded over dough because it's just kind of chewy. So, that's simple right there. You can see I kind of go around the edge. That's a little close there, just to make sure that it has at least about 1/8 of an inch of a border there. Now I'm going to set this aside. It's really easy to even go a little bit fancier. I like to have fun with it. The dough that we rolled out earlier. I'm going to cut it into squares here. I'll show you a couple different shapes I like to use. A little scoop of cheese on there. Dip my finger in the water. Again, using that to seal it off. Now, one of my favorites I'll show you first is called Cappellacci. Might be a little bit off in the pronunciation there. So yeah, just folded it over into a triangle, cutting it into a nice edge. So now I've got just a triangle. I'm going to dip my finger in the water just a tiniest bit to put in this corner, and I'm going to pull these corners back and fold them together and pinch it. Pinch it nice and tight. It's not coming apart now, so that way it won't come apart in the water. Now I take the other part and I fold it down and I give it just a little push. And there you go. Very, very easy. People seem to be impressed by it quite a bit. It's a fun one. I like to do it a lot. Another very simple one is tortellini. Now this isn't going to look like your store-bought tortellini. It shouldn't, but it tastes way better. We're doing the exact same first step here by folding it over into a triangle. A lot of people, when they see these shapes separately, think that they're the same shape, but they're definitely not. So we've got our triangle now. That's the same first step that I was saying. And now you're going to fold it over so that you've got the top pointing up a little bit there. And take your pinky. First, I'm going to dab it and just put a little bit of moisture there. You're going to wrap it around your pinky. Pull this one over, and then slide your finger out, pinch it off, and there is your tortellini. You can make them, bigger or smaller. That really doesn't matter. I like to make them just about this size because it doesn't take them forever to cook. I also don't have to serve 20 of those, so it saves prepping time and having to roll each one out. And you can really play and do a lot of different things with these. I've kind of just made up some shapes. For example, just take a little bit of cheese, pop it in there, put a little bit of moisture around the edge. All I'm doing is pinching it together, and voila, you have a pasta purse. Or you could, this is one that I just kind of made up. I don't know if it has a name. I'm sure somebody's done it before, but I've never seen it. I've actually never made this for a dish yet, but I've just made it when I was playing around trying to discover new things. And there you are. Cool little whatever there. So, like I said, it's simple. You got your glue for water. Get inventive, have some fun with it.